Yo my people, it's JTV and I'm back again with another video. Today I got something different for you guys. Today I'm reacting to disturbing last scene footage of murder victims. Yeah, you heard me right. Last disturbing moments of murder victims. I wanted to change it up for you guys and give you something a little bit more scary. I feel like you guys are enjoying the gaming content too much. So I said, you know what, let me give you guys something different to watch. So, we're about to check this out. Shout out to Chillin' Scares for making the video. Everyone go subscribe to his channel. That's where I'm getting the video from. Shout out to him. And if you ain't got a pair of balls, get out of here. Because it's about to get deep. Let's go.
On the evening of June 2nd, 2007, 18-year-old Kelsey Smith went shopping alone. She had just graduated from high school 9 days earlier and wanted to buy a 6-month anniversary present for her boyfriend, John. However, what was meant to be a quick, uneventful shopping trip instead turned into a tragedy. Though nothing seemed out of place at first. Kelsey left her home in Overland Park, Kansas at around 6:30 p.m. and reached the Target near Oak Park Mall without any trouble about 30 minutes later. She even called her mother shortly after arriving at the store to ask where she could find gift boxes. Unfortunately, this was the last conversation anyone ever had with her. Her family grew concerned when more than an hour passed and she still hadn't returned home. There was no message from her about some unexpected delay and her phone was going straight to voicemail.
Hi guys, it's Kelsey. Obviously, I can't come to the phone right now. Leave me a message. Bye.
Kelsey was the kind of person who would call her parents even if she was just a few minutes late, so for her to disappear like this was highly unusual. Around the same time, John also showed up at Kelsey's house to pick her up for their date. Unfortunately, he didn't know anything about her whereabouts either. Fearing the worst, her family filed a missing person report. Meanwhile, her sister and John started looking for her around town, desperately hoping that she was just stranded somewhere due to something minor like car trouble. And
hey, to everyone out there, man, stay safe out there, guys. It's a dangerous world we live in. You guys gotta check your mirrors. Guys around me know that I always say check your mirrors. Cause you see, if you're parking a car and you don't check your mirrors, you're gonna crash the car. So check your mirrors. Everyone check your mirrors, especially to all the females out there, all the girls out there, check your mirrors, man. Cause you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of guys doing dirty stuff out here. You gotta watch out for them guys, you know what I'm saying. But another thing as well, RIP to all the victims involved in the video, you know what I'm saying, because it's a dark world we live in, and this stuff is sickening, you know. It really shouldn't be happening. So yeah, rest in peace to all the victims involved.
while they finally found a lead, it raised more questions than it answered. They were searching the area surrounding the Target when they spotted her car parked outside the Macy's on the opposite side of the Oak Park Mall, about half a mile from her last known location. This was already strange enough on its own. However, the most concerning part was the condition they found it in. It was fully unlocked, and the only thing missing from it besides Kelsey herself was her phone. All of her belongings, including her purse and the gift she bought for John hours earlier, were still in the car, which begged the question, what could have possibly caused her to abandon her car in this state? Fortunately, Macy's had a CCTV camera pointed at the parking lot, allowing investigators to acquire the footage and analyze it for potential clues. However, nothing could have prepared them for what they were about to uncover. CCTV footage showed the car pull into the lot at 9:17 p.m., over 2 hours after Kelsey was last heard from. However, instead of Kelsey, an unknown man wearing a white t-shirt got out of the driver's side door and quickly fled the scene. Unfortunately, the footage was too blurry to see any identifying features besides his clothes.
No!
Investigators...
That ain't a good sign. That ain't a good sign. That ain't a good sign. Why is someone else driving her car? Why is another man inside of her car? And then one thing I know about women as well, you're not leaving your purse and your belongings and just taking your phone and just randomly up and disappear. Like, especially the fact that she's not in contact with her parents as well. Big telltale sign, man. But let me continue.
What investigators didn't know at the time was the color of his shirt would prove crucial in this investigation. But for now, the focus was on finding Kelsey before it was too late. The next step in their investigation was to analyze the last known footage of Kelsey shopping at the Target. Unfortunately, this footage didn't show anything unusual, at least at first glance. Target's surveillance system had captured her entire shopping trip. Everything from entering the building, to calling her mother, buying the gift, and then leaving in her car. However, while doing a frame-by-frame analysis, one of the detectives noticed a tiny anomaly near the end of the footage. As she was about to get in her car, the camera captured what looked like a man in a white t-shirt running toward her at the last second. There was a strong chance that this was the same man who would later abandon her car in the Macy's parking lot hours later. With this newfound knowledge, investigators watched the footage again, and this time they noticed something even more horrific. As Kelsey was browsing through the store, a man in a white t-shirt could be seen stalking her through every aisle. He kept following her.
You see this guy here? This guy's a scumbag. You're a scumbag, bro. You're a dirty scumbag, bro. You're a shithead. And I hope he's in prison for the rest of his life. He's a joke, man. Whatever his name is. He's a joke, man, and he's a murderer. Yeah? He's an absolute joke, man.
Until she was about to pay for her items, and then rushed out of the store before her, likely so he could ambush her as she was getting in her car. Fortunately, the entrance camera managed to capture the only somewhat usable
look at
his
him.
face, allowing
Look at this
investigators
Joker.
to set up a tip line for anyone who knew him. Another camera also captured the make and model of his truck when he arrived at the store minutes earlier. This narrowed down the search considerably. All they needed now was information on who this man was. And after sifting through hundreds of false reports, investigators finally received a tip from someone claiming to be his neighbor. They recognized his face and truck on TV and immediately called the police. Not long after, officers arrested 26-year-old Edwin Hall.
Oh my days, bro. Look at this guy's face, bro. You know this guy was getting bullied in school. He was getting bullied, shoved around. Hey, give me your packed lunch, bro. Give me your packed lunch, bro. He was #1 target, bro. This guy was the bag. He walks into school. He looks left and right and he's shivering. Look at him. This joke man went and murdered a girl for no reason, bro. Why? Hey, RIP to Kelsey again, man. It's crazy.
In Hall at his home. He was getting ready to leave the state for a supposed vacation with his wife and kids. Fortunately, officers were able to reach him before he fled. Though, to their surprise, Edwin confessed to being at the location without any pushback and even confirmed that he was the one in the CCTV footage. But he also denied having anything to do with Kelsey. Luckily, his lie did not last long. Investigators had actually found a single unknown fingerprint on the seatbelt latch of Kelsey's.
Hey, this is not a laughing matter, yeah? But can we just peep how this guy walked away from the shelf? What normal human being walks away from a shelf like this? He's not okay up here. He's not alright. He is not alright. Bro, my guy walked from the shelf here. Instead of walking like this with his posture up like a normal civilized person would be, Broski said, nah, I'm gonna do it my own way. Like what? Bro, this guy's a scumbag, man.
Had actually found a single unknown fingerprint on the seatbelt latch of Kelsey's car when searching through.
And you lacked, yeah? They got your fingerprints now, bro.
Print they had on record. But with Edwin's arrest, they were able to take his fingerprints, which turned out to be a perfect match for the one found in Kelsey's car. The same day, police also found Kelsey's remains near a lake in Missouri, about 2 miles from the target.
Man.
Which would have been possible if Kelsey's last shopping trip hadn't been captured by Target's surveillance system. Edwin was charged with the kidnapping and murder of Kelsey Smith.
Why is he crying now, bro? Because I bet you weren't crying when you killed her. So why are you crying now? Don't cry now. Don't cry. Don't cry. Because when you get into that cell, and when you get inside of that prison, you ain't even going to have to drop the soap and they're going to deal with you, bro. You don't even have to drop the soap. They're going to hear what you did, and they're going to have their time with you. You joker. I hope he got what he deserves as well. This guy's a scum. He's a scum and he's an evil person. People like him shouldn't be roaming the earth. Edwin Hall. Edwin Hall, you're a joker. You're a joke man.
July 2008. He pled guilty to all charges to avoid the death.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Oh.
Penalty and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Damn right.
On the night of Valentine's Day 2017, a home security camera installed outside the house of 35-year-old Ellie Tran showed her returning home from work and pulling into the driveway. Unaware that a dangerous stalker was hiding just outside the camera's view, waiting for the right opportunity to attack.
No.
As soon as she got out of the car, the stalker lunged at her from behind the bushes and tackled her to the ground before running away on foot just seconds later. And while Ellie looked mostly unharmed at first, the attacker had actually injected her with a cyanide-filled syringe while she was on the ground.
What?
Which, for those who don't know, is one of the deadliest poisons on Earth. What made
Oh
this
my-
situation even worse?
Oh my god. Cyanide, bro. Who even keeps cyanide inside of their house? Who keeps cyanide? What? Furthermore, what even is cyanide? I don't know what that is. Bro, back in science class, I weren't listening. I was messing about with my boys on the table. We was having laughs and giggles. What is cyanide? Like, it's familiar, but I don't know what it is. Yo.
This situation even worse was the fact that this wasn't a crazed stalker or a random serial killer. Instead, this was 30-year-old Joseph Merlino III, Ellie's ex-boyfriend, and someone she had a 2-year-old daughter with. The two got into a relationship.
What? Oh my days. She had a kid with this man. She had a kid with this man. She had a kid with this man. And he killed her. Or, yeah, he killed her with cyanide?
Got into a relationship sometime in late 2013, and things started off quite well. However, Joseph started becoming aggressive when Ellie became pregnant and invited her parents to live with her. You see, Ellie had actually immigrated to the US from Vietnam before meeting Joseph. She wanted to build a stable life in the US with Joseph and their child, but she also wanted her parents to be a part of this new life. So, in 2014, she flew her parents to the US and gave them a place at her and Joseph's home. This became a major point of contention between the couple, with Joseph becoming more and more aggressive with each passing day. Things escalated to the point of physical violence by mid-2016, forcing Ellie to break up with Joseph and get a restraining order against him.
Nah,
she also
that's crazy,
kept full
man.
custody of their daughter. However, Ellie knew that Joseph wasn't going to leave her alone so easily. She lived in constant fear that he would one day show up and take their daughter from her, which was the only reason she installed security cameras both inside and outside her home. But even Ellie couldn't have predicted the lengths Joseph was willing to go for revenge. Immediately after the attack on February 14, Ellie tried to get inside and call 911. She didn't know exactly what had happened, but she knew he had injected something into her leg. But she passed away before making that call. Luckily, her mother saw everything, including Joseph's face as he was running away. She called emergency services and Ellie was rushed to a nearby hospital.
And her mum saw the whole thing go down. Oh, man, bro. It's a sick world we live in, man.
Unfortunately, it was already too late. Cyanide prevents cells from using oxygen, which is needed to keep them alive. The cells can no longer produce energy, and vital organs like the heart and brain start failing rapidly, leading to a state of internal suffocation, even if the person is breathing. By the time Ellie reached the hospital, she had already suffered severe brain damage. She was pronounced brain dead shortly afterward, forcing her parents to make the painful decision of cutting off her life support.
Oh, no, man. Oh, man. Nah, man. That's crazy, bro. That's so crazy. That's so crazy to me. Like, your mother having to cut off your life support. And basically, she's basically taking you out of the world. But, like, you're gone, but you're not, like, gone. But you're not, she's confirming that you're gone. That's crazy, man.
Alongside the statement from Ellie's mother allowed investigators to zero in on Joseph and arrest him just 3 days later on February 17. They also searched his home and found several other dangerous items like guns and materials for making explosives. However, despite the evidence, Joseph tried to claim that he was in a different city on the night of the murder and that the person in the home security footage was someone else. However, the prosecution didn't believe any of it. Phone records proved that his statement about being in a different city was a complete lie. More importantly, prosecutors were able to prove that the murder was fully premeditated. Forensic analysis of his internet traffic revealed that leading up to the crime, he had searched terms like, how many milligrams of cyanide will kill you? What if cyanide gets in the bloodstream? And what if cyanide gets injected? Investigators were also able to
he clearly planned this.
Cyanide
He
in
clearly
the
planned
syringe
this.
from on marketplaces like eBay and Etsy. However, the most damning evidence proving his sinister motives came from an incident that happened back in December 2016. According to Ellie's mother, Ellie was coming home from work one day when suddenly a man approached her and threw an unknown chemical on her. Thankfully, the chemical only burned her hair and caused minor burns on her scalp, allowing her to recover without any permanent injuries. Ellie later told her mother that she believed the attacker was Joseph. This showed that Joseph was coming up with ways of harming Ellie even before the lethal attack.
So he tried to take her out multiple times. Hey, to all of my brothers out there, please never get obsessed over a woman to the point where you wanna harm her or even try and think about taking her out of this world. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. Like, man to man, don't do that shit, bro. It's not worth it, man. Don't do that.
Joseph, however, stayed adamant that he was innocent and even went on a hunger strike for a few months before his trial.
Look at my man.
He did this to lose a lot of weight and look significantly different from how he looked in the...
Look, you see, you're so quick to do the crime, yeah? You're not thinking about the repercussions. Now look what he's trying to do. He done fast off all the skin on his body and he's in the chair like this. Allow it. Get into your cell and go to bed. What is this about, man?
Different from how he looked in the security camera footage, possibly hoping to trick the jury into handing out an innocent verdict.
Bro, you ain't fooling no one, bro. You ain't fooling that one. Is that him?
For him, this plan failed as well. He stood trial in December 2018.
Dumbass. Flipping dumbass. So you went from this to this. Dumbass, bro.
18 and was sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah, you ain't never coming out, buddy.
On the 12th of May 2022, a government inspector was doing a land survey in the wooded area surrounding the National Guard Armory in Wadesboro, North Carolina. But partway through the survey, the inspector discovered the last thing he was expecting behind the armory, a complete human skeleton. The only other items nearby were a black top and a pair of women's leggings, indicating that this skeleton likely belonged to a woman. Further inspection of the remains also confirmed that she had likely passed away somewhere between 9 months and a year ago. Now, this was a major discovery, especially because it happened in a not-so-secluded area near a government building and a high school. There was also a strong chance that this person either got lost in the woods or was placed there by someone trying to hide their crime. Either way, it would have been best to make the finding public and enlist the public's help in identifying the person. But for unknown reasons, the Wadesboro Police Department did not report it publicly. It wasn't until January 2024 that this case received its first major update. Someone from the Wadesboro area came forward with disturbing images their trail camera had captured back on August 21, 2021, close to the armory. They showed a woman, possibly in her mid to late 30s, walking alone in the forest very early in the morning. She was barefoot and was struggling to walk while using a stick for support. Her leggings and support stick were also wet up to her knees, suggesting she might have walked through the creek just south of the trail cam. More importantly, she was wearing the same top and leggings the surveyor would find alongside the skeletal remains about 9 months later. However, while the trail cam footage gave a face to the remains, investigators were still no closer to identifying her. She didn't match any missing person reports in the area, leaving investigators with no clear leads to follow. With no other option, authorities uploaded the trail cam images alongside any information they had on the National Missing Persons database, which turned out to be the correct move. Not long after the case gained traction online, the woman was identified as Amber Ray Johnston, who was 36 years old when she went missing back in August 2021. This trail cam footage was the last time she was seen alive. Her mother recognized her after
What's she doing out there, though?
Online. A DNA test in March 2025 also confirmed that the skeletal remains belonged to her daughter, Amber. The only question that remained now was what happened to Amber? How did she end up in Wadesboro, North Carolina, over 2,200 miles from her home in Bullhead City, Arizona? Unfortunately, the answer to this question would turn out to be far more complex than the investigators might have expected. Amber's story began in Bullhead City, Arizona, where she was in an emotionally and physically abusive relationship with her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Jarrett Ward. Both Jarrett and Amber also had a severe substance abuse problem, which only made their relationship worse. They eventually broke up in the summer of 2021, and Jarrett went back to his hometown in South Carolina. During this time, authorities had their first strange encounter with Amber.
That's another thing to all the kids out there. Lay off the drugs. Don't do drugs. Drugs are for phonies. That shit is not cool. Like, you be pricking yourself and thinking, oh yeah, I'm hard. Oh, I'm a cool dude. Nope. That shit is stupid. If you're someone that's seeing this and you're in drugs right now, I don't even want to say like come out, because that's like telling a homeless person to buy a house, innit? But like, talk to someone, man. Go out there and try to get some help, because it's only gonna get worse and worse and worse, man. So come out of that.
First strange encounter with Amber. On the 8th of August at around 8 a.m., she apparently went swimming with someone she had just met. He stayed behind on the water's edge while Amber dove in, leaving her ID and clothes behind in his care. He went back to get a life jacket for himself, but when he returned, Amber was nowhere to be seen. Assuming that she might have drowned, he contacted the police, who began a search and rescue mission immediately. However, just hours into the search, police received a call from Amber's landlady stating that she returned home safe. Then, in mid-August, she got on a Greyhound bus and started traveling east. It's unclear if she was going back to her mother's place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or if she was planning on visiting Jared in South Carolina. However, she didn't reach either of these destinations. Witnesses saw her purchasing a bus ticket in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on August 17, 2021, and that was the last time Amber was ever seen alive. The last ping from her phone came from Charlotte on August 19, 2021. 3 days after that, she was captured by the trail camera in Wadesboro, over 90 miles from Winston-Salem, before disappearing.
Why is she there though? Like, why is she there? Why is she, one, so far away from home, and then two, inside of the middle of the woods with no clothes on, a stick, and ends up with just her skeletal remains a year later? What? I'm so confused. What happened?
Completely, until her remains were discovered 9 months later. However, how she reached Wadesboro or why she went there in the first place remains a mystery to this day. The most puzzling part of her case is that authorities still haven't considered any foul play in her disappearance and death, even though there are countless signs strongly pointing towards that possibility. The biggest of which are her SNAP food stamps and credit card, both of which were used by other people, including Jared, after her supposed death. She had actually told her mother about Jared stealing her credit card to purchase drugs in the past. So, him somehow getting a hold of it and using it for online purchases after her death should have made him the #1 suspect. Unfortunately, Jared passed away himself from an overdose in 2022, leaving
Oh my days. You see what I'm trying to say, you guys? Don't do drugs. Not only did he, well, they say there's no foul play, but not only did she disappear, he went and took her credit card and used it to buy more drugs. Don't do drugs.
Investigators with no lead to follow. The second strange sign is a travel video that was posted to her Facebook account on August 18, showing the bus traveling through Birmingham, Alabama, even though phone records showed that she was in Charlotte, North Carolina the next day. It's possible someone else posted this older travel video on her account to throw off anyone looking for her, but there's no way for us to confirm or deny that theory. It also makes little to no sense for Amber to get lost and lose her life in a patch of woods that's surrounded by a government building, a high school, a hospital, and several restaurants and convenience stores, all with...
Alright people, so my camera decided to do a crime and stop recording, so I'm back, you get me, but let's get back into the video.
Distance. Lastly, her lack of proper clothing and use of a walking stick in the trail cam footage also points to something far more sinister than her just getting lost in the woods. Unfortunately, with the primary suspect now passed away himself, the truth of what happened to Amber in August 2021 will likely never come out.
This one here is creepy to me, man.
On the morning of January 25,
So
2019,
random as well.
Elizabeth Barraza, known to her friends as just Liz, woke up early to set up a garage sale outside her suburban home in Tomball, Texas. She lived there with her husband, Sergio, and the two had been happily married for nearly 5 years. Their 5th anniversary was also just a few days away, and they had planned to spend the occasion visiting Universal and Disney parks in Florida. They were both massive fans of franchises like Harry Potter and Star Wars, so this was the perfect plan for their special day. Tragically, Liz never lived to see this day she had been looking forward to. As she was setting up the garage sale, security cameras from around the neighborhood captured a black truck driving in and parking a few lots down from Liz's house. The driver of this truck then got out, approached Liz in her driveway, and started talking to her about something at around 6:58 a.m. Her doorbell camera recorded her saying good morning to this person in a way that made it seem like she didn't know who they were. But then, just a few seconds later, unprompted, the person took out a firearm and opened fire, shooting Liz 4 different times before running back to their truck.
What?
3 different neighbors called 911 seconds after hearing the gunshots. First responders arrived just a few minutes later and rushed Liz to a nearby hospital. Unfortunately, the damage was too severe, resulting in her passing away shortly after arriving. The video footage captured the whole incident, but it wasn't clear enough to pick up any identifying features. However, as the investigation went on, the biggest issue that confused the authorities was the complete lack of a logical motive. First of all, this wasn't a robbery or something along those lines. The killer didn't take anything and just ran off after committing the crime. More importantly, the way they made sure to shoot her one more time after she had already fallen to the ground made it seem like this was a deliberate hit, almost as if someone had sent a hitman after her. However, investigators couldn't find any reason why someone would do that. Everyone who knew Liz described her as the brightest person they knew. She wanted nothing more than to see others happy and even spent her free time cosplaying as a stormtrooper and visiting children's hospitals to cheer them up. Security footage from around the neighborhood also showed the killer driving around her home and staying in nearby parking lots hours before the crime. The timing of the crime was also quite suspicious. It happened just 4 minutes after Sergio had left for work. Whoever the killer was, they knew the couple's schedules. Liz had also not told anyone about the garage sale beforehand, so there was no way for some random person to know that she would be alone outside at that time. This precise timing pretty much ruled out the possibility of a serial killer taking advantage of the opportunity, bringing authorities back to square one. The only possible lead they had was her husband, Sergio, and for a good reason. Spouses are often involved in these types of murders, especially when infidelity is involved. Putting Sergio as the mastermind could also explain how the killer knew about the garage sale and the exact time Sergio would leave for work. However, after thorough investigation, the police found no evidence of Sergio's involvement. Their marriage was simply too perfect and problem-free for him to have any reason to take her life, leaving the mystery of Elizabeth Barraz's death completely unsolved to this day.
Yo, RIP to her, man. That's crazy. I mean, you've gone to say good morning to someone. You've gone to greet someone. Like us humans do on a day-to-day basis. And you've held 4 shots. For no reason. It's a crazy world out here, man. You lot stay safe out there, man. Because it is a crazy world. It is a crazy world. It's a crazy, crazy world.
February 2021 started off as a particularly cold month for the residents of the small town of Plains Township, Pennsylvania. A blizzard the night before had deposited over 30 inches of snow across the region, forcing most of its residents to shovel snow from their driveways if they wanted to get their cars out. However, for a local couple, 50-year-old James Goy and 48-year-old Lisa Goy, this simple activity proved lethal when they got into an argument with their neighbor across the street named Jeffrey Spade. The fight had started with Jeffrey accusing the couple of dumping snow too close to his house. A home security camera outside James and Lisa's home captured the argument as it escalated, with both groups hurling increasingly demeaning insults and curses at each other. In the heat of the moment, Jeffrey threatened the couple's lives before returning to his home. Normally, this would have been where the argument ended. However, Jeffrey had something much more drastic in mind. Seconds later, he came back with a firearm and opened fire, hitting the couple multiple times. He kept shooting until he ran out of ammunition. But after seeing that both James and Lisa were still alive, he went back inside and returned with a different firearm and took their lives at point-blank range. By the time first responders arrived at the scene, both Lisa and James had already passed away. But that wasn't all. Police entered Jeffrey's home to arrest him for his crime. However, Jeffrey, understanding the drastic, irreversible decision he had just made, likely didn't want to spend the rest of his life behind bars. So, after ending James and Lisa, he ended everything for himself as well, ending the investigation.
So you're trying to tell me, yeah? You're trying to tell me you killed 2 people because they put too much snow on your front porch? What? And then you went and let me tell you why this guy is stupid as hell and why he's a dumbass, yeah? This guy killed himself over snow. When you look at the wider picture, look outside the box. He killed himself because of snow. Little ice flakes that fall from the sky. Them little white things. He killed himself over. Well done, bro. Well done. Stupid as hell, bro.
Before it even began. On the morning of February 12, 1993, Denise Bolger was visiting the New Strand Shopping Center in Bootle, England with her 2-year-old son, James. At one point during shopping, she let go of James's hand for a split second to pay. But when she looked back, James had vanished without making a sound. In a panic, she immediately began looking for him, hoping that he was just wandering around the shopping center. However, James was nowhere to be found. She also called the police, who arrived within minutes and started searching for James in the streets surrounding the area. Over the next 2 days, more than 100 officers searched the streets of Bootle while helicopter teams searched across the canal. Unfortunately, despite their combined efforts, they didn't find a single clue that could lead them to James. However, what looked like a simple missing child case at first would turn out to be one of the most disturbing crimes of the 20th century. The truth came out on February 14th when a group of young boys discovered James's remains on a railway track 2.5 miles from the shopping center. His body had been sliced in half by a passing train.
Oh! How?
The tip of the iceberg. A later autopsy report revealed that James had a total of 42 injuries across his body, including 10 skull fractures and much more. While the graphic details...
Oh my... How could you do that to a little kid, bro? He doesn't even look like he's like even 5 years old yet. And his body was split in half. How is it? How?
The graphic details of James's state are too gruesome for YouTube, but they can only be described as an act of pure, inhuman cruelty. Someone had spent a long time inflicting pain on the poor boy before he inevitably passed away from the injuries. However, the most shocking revelation of the case was yet to come. With the discovery of James's remains, the focus then shifted to uncovering and catching the person or persons responsible. Fortunately, the shopping center had CCTV cameras around the facility. And after scouring through the footage, investigators finally found their first solve.
What grown man would have done this?
The cameras had captured the culprit taking James out of the shopping center, but it wasn't an adult as most would have suspected. Instead, James was seen being led away by 2 strikingly young boys. Footage from other cameras showed the 2 boys just hanging around the shopping center and shoplifting things like candy, toys, and paint. Then, at 3:42 p.m., they guided James away from his mother and took him outside.
Don't tell me these kids did this.
There was no way for the investigators to identify the 2 boys on their own, so they released some of the enhanced footage on TV, resulting in a woman recognizing them and calling the station. On February 18, 6 days after James's murder, police arrested 10-year-old John Venables and Robert Thompson for
Oh my days.
What followed was an extensive 20-hour-long interrogation where the 2 initially
It was
tried
2
to deny
kids.
everything. But after some pressure, John buckled and confessed, stating, "I killed James. I did it. We did it. Will you tell his mom I'm sorry?" Police also interviewed around 38 witnesses who saw James with John and Robert that evening to get a full picture of what happened.
Whoa, man.
John and Robert skipped school on February 12th and went to the shopping center with the express purpose of abducting a child. As one of them later confessed, they were planning to take James near a busy road and push him into oncoming traffic. But somewhere between taking him from his mother
that's
and going
demonic,
out,
bro.
their plan took a turn for the worst. They took him to the railway track instead. Once alone, they forced James to endure the unimaginable until he finally passed away. They then dragged his remains onto the train tracks to make his death look like an accident before going back home. Because they demonstrated a clear understanding of the wrongness of their crimes, John and Robert faced a full adult trial in November 1993. And the evidence against them was overwhelming. Investigators found drops of James's blood on their clothes, imprints of their shoes on his body, and much, much more, leaving no doubt about their guilt. They were found guilty and became the youngest convicted murderers of the 20th century. Though, despite their adult trial, their sentence was still in line with their age. They were sentenced to indefinite detention with a minimum of 8 years behind bars. After 8 years, in 2001, John Venables was released with a new identity to protect him from public retribution. But
Wait, don't tell me they just did 8 years.
To prison for breaching his parole conditions and was found to still pose a danger to children. Robert Thompson remains free on license and has not been known to reoffend since his initial release.
What? 8 years was all they got. Oh my days. That's insane. 8 years for what they did to that small boy. Hey, you lot gotta stay safe out there, man. But hey, that's the end of the video, my people. You know what I'm saying? I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, something different for you guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Everyone subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Let's get the subscribers up, people. I know you're watching right now. Look how many of you are watching and are not subscribed. Subscribe. Hit that button. Like. Turn the notifications on as well so you know when I upload next. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to upload weekly. But I think I want to even upload at least like 2 videos a week. Sometimes even 3 if I'm feeling like it. what I'm saying? So I'd appreciate all of your support along the way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Chilling Scares as well for posting the video on his channel. We're definitely gonna react to some more Chilling Scares videos because these are some late night watchers for sure. Let me know if you want me to keep watching his content and reacting to his videos. But that's it, my people. It's JTV out.